Okay, let's dive into this. We've got excerpts here from Batman.ninja.Yakuza.League-Episode-08. It's called the Origami Gambit.
Right. And the premise is, well, it's something else.
It really is. Imagine Tokyo, but reality itself has been, like, folded into a four-dimensional origami crane. That's our setting.
Yeah, it sets the stage for absolute chaos, doesn't it?
Pretty much. So our mission here is to unpack this craziness, see what it tells us about, I don't know, power, chaos, maybe even resilience.
Mm-hmm. Especially resilience in the face of, well, complete absurdity.
Exactly. So where we jump in, Kuroko, who's described as this prominent anti-hero.
Yeah, probably thought he was kind of in charge of this warped reality.
He's just been taken down, defeated.
Right away, throws everything up in the air. You know, even in a bizarre world, there's an order, and seeing it toppled means the rules are fluid.
Yeah.
Dangerously so.
And right on cue, enter Russ. He's a time-traveling sociopath.
As you do.
Right. And he arrives holding this glowing green rock.
Okay. So, Kuroku's out, power vacuum, and in steps Russ with potential leverage.
Straight away, he confronts Kramha. Now, Kramha is basically a Superman from another timeline.
Got it. Maybe not our Superman, but a version.
Yeah, and Russ holds up the rock and just says, this nullifies the powers of Kryptonians like you. Pretty direct.
Whoa. Okay, so it is like kryptonite, or serves the same function.
Seems like it. He even mentions getting it from, and I quote, the very man I told you about. You know, the one with the cape and unresolved trauma.
Ah, okay, so a clear reference there. And it immediately makes even this powerful Kramha figure vulnerable.
Totally levels the playing field. Or worse for Kramha.
Right, it's that specific weakness suddenly becoming the only thing that matters.
But Russ doesn't stop there. He goes for the psychological attack, too.
Oh.
Yeah, he looks Kramha up and down and says something like, you look the same, but you've got the personality of a wet sock and none of the original's charm.
Ooh, that's harsh, especially the wet sock part.
Brutal. And then he just adds, I'm coming for you next.
So, threat neutralized and ego bruised. Russ clearly enjoys the mind games.
Seems like it. He's undermining Kramha's confidence, pointing out he's just a copy.
While establishing himself as the next big threat. Smart, in a twisted way.
Now, just as Kramha's probably reeling from the wet sock insult, the entire Bat family arrives. Like, all at once. Nightwing, Red Hood, Tim.
Wow, okay. The cavalry's here.
Oh.
So Kramha does have backup. Or associates.
Yeah, it suggests some kind of network, right? Even for a Superman type. Who do you rely on?
And what are those team dynamics like when things get this weird?
Well, Russ, who's just watching all this, makes a crack. He says, your friends are here as well. Are they your older brothers or just posters who think they came first? You can just imagine the eye rolls.
Yeah, that line definitely touches on those internal power struggles, even if it's meant as a joke. Alliances aren't always simple.
And then Russ twists the knife a bit more for Kramha. He points out that their leader, Batman, he beat all of them. So basically implying these guys aren't necessarily going to save him.
Right. Reinforcing that brute strength isn't everything.
Yeah.
Strategy, skill. Maybe Batman's methods are more effective here.
And Russ gives Kramha some advice. So maybe stop trying to flex and sit down before you embarrass yourself.
Ouch. More salt in the wound.
But Kramha's not taking it. He just gets this villainous grin.
Yeah, boy.
And says, very well, time for plan B.
Okay, plan B. In this context, that sounds ominous. It's an escalation.
Definitely. And plan B involves, wait for it, a space-time converter.
A space-time converter, of course. Why not?
Described as having more buttons than logic?
That sounds about right. Technology is the ultimate wild card, potentially more chaotic than superpowers.
So the Bat family finally starts moving in on Russ, and he just casually tells them, detectives, nice of you to join, but you're late. He's got the space-time converter.
He's enjoying this way too much.
Totally. And then comes the actual plan. Kramha intends to use the converter to rematerialize Tokyo.
Okay, where?
On top of Gotham.
He wants to drop Tokyo on Gotham.
Apparently so.
That's beyond escalating. That's just sheer destructive absurdity. City-level annihilation as plan B.
Someone in the scene even asks, what kind of anime villain logic is this? Which feels pretty spot on.
Yeah, that little meta comment is perfect. It's like the story knows how wild it is. You just have to go with it.
But just when you think it can't get worse, Russ pushes another button on the converter.
No. What now? He's just making things worse.
Seems to be his specialty. He explains, I deactivated the energy modulator, so now the four-dimensional origami system is going wild.
Okay, what does that mean?
It means, according to Russ, Tokyo's gonna fall right out of the fissure and crush Gotham like a soda can.
The fissure. So that's the boundary holding this origami reality together.
Seems like it. He's basically destabilizing the whole structure.
So Kramha wanted to move Tokyo. Russ just made it fall uncontrolled?
Exactly. Batman hears this and just yells, "That's insane."
Yeah, no kidding. Even Batman, who's seen everything, recognizes this is off the charts.
Yeah.
It anchors the absurdity a bit.
But Russ, he's completely nonchalant, says something like, "Oh, relax. The shockwave will be absorbed. It'll be mildly apocalyptic at best."
Mildly apocalyptic.
Yep. And then he calls it gentrification on a planetary scale.
Okay, that's dark. And weirdly funny. It really shows his detached perspective. Coping through twisted humor, maybe?
Could be. So, with Tokyo literally falling, Batman asks the logical next question in this universe.
Which is?
Where's the Quake engine?
They have a Quake engine. Of course they do. Just casually mentioned. Normalizes the extraordinary, doesn't it?
Right. But Tim's response is just perfect. He says, really casually, it sort of disappeared.
It disappeared.
Yeah.
The Quake engine. Now.
Gone. Vanished.
That understatement is hilarious, but also terrifyingly unhelpful.
Yeah.
Chaos factor just went up again.
Batman's reaction is pretty much ours. It did what?
Yeah, that's the audience speaking right there.
Yeah.
Total disbelief.
Tim tries to explain. Look, things got complicated. No kidding, Tim. He says, the origami system's now sliding through space-time like it's on rollerblades.
Rollerblades. Through space-time.
That's the quote.
Okay, the imagery's just, wow. Ridiculous but vivid. How do you even fight that? It's almost whimsical chaos.
Batgirl seems to feel the same way. She throws her hands up and says, this isn't even a fight. It's a rigged casino game.
That's a great analogy. The feeling of helplessness against something so random and overwhelming. Strategy doesn't even apply.
And Russ overhears her and just beams. Yes. Exactly. And guess what? I've hidden the dice. It's not a gamble if I win every time.
Oof. So he confirms it. He wants to be the puppet master, controlling the chaos, ensuring his own win. It's all a game to him.
But then, a glimmer of hope? Or maybe just more weird science? Someone suggests using the residual energy from the space-time pulse to somehow anchor the device in the real world.
Anchor, okay. It sounds completely nuts, but in this situation, maybe nuts is what works.
That seems to be the thinking. Red Robin is immediately on board. He says, that's the kind of pseudoscience I'm willing to die for.
Huh. Love that attitude. Desperate times? Embrace the pseudoscience, right? Adds a bit of dark humor.
Nightwing's in too. Just a simple, cool, I'm in. Others try to volunteer.
But Batman says no.
Yeah, typical Batman trying to protect everyone. But, you know, it's the Bat family. They ignore him and try anyway.
That dynamic never changes, does it?
Mm.
Respect for him, but they'll still make the sacrifice play.
And then, get this. Kuroku, the guy who was defeated right at the start.
Yeah, what about him?
He gets back up. Powers are gone. He's beaten up, but he stands. Someone mentions he kept fighting just to save my eyes.
Wow. Okay, so even amidst all the cosmic weirdness, there's this very personal motivation driving him. A bit of selfless heroism from the anti-hero.
Seems so. And he faces Kramha and says, you think you scare me, he was worth 10 of you.
Powerful stuff. Loyalty and conviction trumping raw power. It shows strength isn't just about superpowers.
But Russ,
Right.
He's still not done making things worse.
Of course not. What now?
He decides to detonate the base of the entire structure they're on.
Why? Why?
His logic. Even a falling tower could level Gotham. He wants maximum destruction. No half measures.
He really is committed to chaos, isn't he? No goal beyond just breaking everything.
Just then, Wonder Woman arrives. Because, you know, if Tokyo's falling on Gotham, she's probably going to show up.
Makes sense. Big gun arriving. What's her take?
She sees Russ and just lays it out. You're a damn monster.
Okay, clear moral line drawn. Good versus evil, despite the gray areas and absurdity everywhere else.
But Russ just smirks. His reply is something else. No, I'm just the inevitable consequence of letting rich billionaires dress up like bats.
Whoa! He's blaming Batman for his existence. All this chaos.
That's what he says. Talk about social commentary dropped into the middle of a disaster.
It's fascinating. Raising questions about vigilantism, consequences.
Wow. And right after dropping that line, he hits the final switch, declares, Tokyo has manifested outside the fissure. Earth's gravity is pulling it down. It's over.
So this is it. The culmination of his plan. Game over.
Seems like what he thinks. But Batman whispers, I can still stop it. I just need the converter.
Classic Batman. Never gives up. Always looking for that one chance. Hope against hope.
Russ overhears him and pretends he forgot. Oh, right. The converter.
He's just toying with them now.
Completely. And then, just to be difficult, he says he'll make things more complicated and blows up the tower they're in.
He just blows it up with everyone on it, including himself, possibly.
Seems like it. Just pure malicious chaos right to the very end.
That's extreme, even for him.
Yeah.
Just making absolutely sure the heroes fail, even if it costs him.
So, the aftermath. What does it look like? Smoke, rubble. Gotham looks absolutely ravaged, like it went through a blender.
Yeah, you'd expect that after. Well, everything.
Then a communicator crackles. Someone asks, Bruce, can you hear me? You can just feel the tension. Is he okay?
Right, bringing it back to the personal cost amidst all the destruction.
The reply comes back, thankfully. Can't be out for it. What's going on? Phew. Okay, so what is the situation report?
It's bad. Reality is still folded. Tokyo is now floating somewhere over New Jersey.
Over New Jersey, okay.
Like-
That's geographically specific and bizarre. A lasting, weird consequence.
And the origami system itself. Gone. Missing.
So the core problem isn't even solved. It's just lost.
But here's the kicker. Amidst all the destruction, one thing survived. A specific vending machine.
A vending machine. Seriously.
Not just any vending machine. It's described as the one that sells coffee and despair.
Coffee and despair. That's honestly, that feels strangely appropriate for this whole story. Darkly funny, almost philosophical. Like, even when reality folds and cities fall, mundane despair persists.
Wow. And then as everything settles, they hear Russ's voice echoing somehow.
He survived the explosion.
Apparently. He says, don't worry, I'm not dead, just time shifting. Compares it to doing laundry, but with existence.
Laundry with existence. Okay, that perfectly captures his casual disregard for everything and confirms he's still out there.
Yep, his sign off. See you in the next paradox, detectives. It's chilling. So the chaos isn't over. He'll be back. An ongoing, unresolved threat.
So wrapping up this very deep dive into the Origami Gambit. What a ride. Folded reality, kryptonite confessions, Bat family awkwardness, planetary gentrification.
The sheer scale of imagination is something else. Taking familiar elements and just throwing them into this blender of absolute chaos. It really pushes the boundaries.
And some truly unforgettable bits, right? The philosophical vending machine.
Oh, yeah?
Russ's uniquely sarcastic villainy.
Definitely a standout.
And that plan to anchor reality with pseudoscience. Amazing.
It manages to be completely absurd, but still have these moments of character, like Kuroko's loyalty or Batgirl's frustration.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? When reality itself is this broken, what does power even mean anymore?
Yeah, and how do you find purpose or even just cope when the universe seems to be playing dice and one guy claims he's hidden them?
Maybe that's the question to leave folks with. In a world gone full origami paradox, what keeps the heroes, or even the villains, going? Something to chew on.